Good evening, folks, and welcome, folks, to my special Tuesday night live chat. This one is going to be a special treat. It's going to be a bring your own topic live chat, hence the random generator. The random aspect is you. You folks tell me what you want to talk about. We're going to talk about tonight. Oh, and guess who the first person in the house is? Lance Chafin. So glad to see you. Says hi, you Thresh. Hi to you too. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to tell you especially because you were here first, but I shall reiterate later on throughout the chat. So sorry that we missed a few comments back on Monday's chat at Retro Serial. Ian, he's trying to be the octopus, and God bless him. He's trying to do everything. But maintaining the comment section and running the chat is very difficult, and that's why he missed a few people. I can't access the chat like I was able to before. He's trying to upgrade that. When he does, I'll be able to highlight the comments section, and I'm going to try the dickens to not miss anyone's comments. By the way, if we missed your comments Monday night, anyone, we're very, very sorry. Oh, and the people are starting to pour in. Zuberplex is here, and he says, and we are live. Yes, we are. Sean Innes says, hey, all four of us. Yes, there are four of us, but we only just started. In fact, I was actually a couple minutes early, so I'm sure we will have a number greater than four in the not too distant future. Ooh, Lance Javen says, how about dead celeb topic? Well, we certainly enough material there. Wajamin says, hello, my friends, and hello to you too, Wajamin, my friend. So good to see you. Big Guy 45 is here. He says, hello. Hello to you, Big Guy 45. A lot of people are having fellowship and saying hello to each other. That's always nice. Big Guy says, stuck at 971 subs. Huh? You hit that 971 plateau. I'm so sorry. Not getting any more due to, you guessed it, the YouTube glitch. Well, we will continue to endeavor to persevere and we'll all pull for you. Jimmy Neutron says it's showtime. Jimmy, so good to see you. Weird City says hi, bud. Weird City, so good to see you too. Hello, right back at you. Ken Wilkinson is in the house, says good evening, Bob. Ken, good evening to you. It's so great to see you. Uh, and the House of Alex just popped in. Hey guys, hope you're all well. House of Alex, we hope you are well as well. So glad you could make it. And Big Guy 45 says, honestly, I doubt I'll ever go anyway, just considering how much crap it keeps on pulling. Don't lose heart. I know it's tough for you, by the way, and I certainly understand, but we're all pulling for you, man. So again, random topic generator tonight, or as I like to say, bring your own topic. Lance Chafin mentioned, and an RIP to all of them, but he mentioned celebrities that we have recently lost. If any of you has a particular celebrity, one that truly hit home, one that you feel is a particularly heavy casualty, please feel free to discuss in the comments below, and I will expand the topic as much as my abilities permit. Oh, the House of Alex says, I was called the Foundation before. Went with a new name change. You know, when I saw Alex, I was wondering if it was that Alex, but I didn't want to say, oh my God, Alex. And if it be a different Alex and look like a crazy person, wouldn't be the first time. Love the new handle. I can almost, if I literally put my nose to the screen, I can just about make out that that's your visage. But so good to see you, by the way. Oh, I love the new mirror drama you did. If you guys haven't seen his mirror dramas, you got to check it out. What he does is he does a mini movie, and it's usually two characters playing off each other, and it's some very humorous situation. Today was a person who was hit by a car. It's way more funny than it sounds. And his maid is trying to convince him to go to the hospital. If you haven't checked out his channel, please do. And Wajamin, as you guys already know, He's been making tremendous strides in the whole field of dad jokes. So if you haven't checked out What You Mean, and you know what, I'm sure all of you have checked out both, but if you haven't, please do. Now I've managed to let myself get behind already, so I'm going to try to keep up. Oh, here we go. Lance Chafin said Bruce Lee going for a recent loss. I see. No, Bruce Lee was a terrible loss. I remember that from when I was a kid. Actually, my friends and I all loved Bruce Lee when I was, well, I wouldn't say little, but 9, 10, 11, around there. He was a great entertainer, and if you've seen the movie Dragon, it's really, I don't know if creepy is the right word, but the whole energy going around the Lee family and stuff, very, very, very tragic and creepy. But anyway, yes, Bruce Lee was a very sad casualty. Sean Innes says, sounds like Tom Sizemore may be joining this list soon. Yeah, I've heard he's not doing well, by the way. Aneurysm or something, I'm not sure, but let's not wish anyone to the other side of the, the realm of existence just yet. Let's talk with people. We certainly have plenty of material for people we have lost. Tracy Ross Myers in the house says, howdy all, howdy to you as well. Big Guy says, honestly, even America and the world is just depressing. Stupid politicians in both parties, idiot celebrities, and more stupid issues. Who knows what crap comes next up? I couldn't have said it better myself, actually. That's the spirit. Tom the Hungry Jerk says, just getting here. Hello. Yeah, Tom, no worries. We just started. Like literally like maybe 6 minutes ago. And you know what? The party doesn't start till Tom gets here. Great to see you. John Doe said, I'm lagging on both devices. If it keeps up, skip this. John, endeavor to persevere. Stick with us as long as you can. If it gets frustrating, I more than understand. Perhaps pop out and then jump back in at some point. But again, if this gets glitchy and starts driving you insane, please let me know. And I would more than understand if you had to sit this one or at least a part of it out. Does anyone else experience any glitching or whatnot? We had a really nasty storm up here in the Northeast. Our cable went out very, very, very briefly. That seems to be dying down now, but it could affect conditions because again, it's not just here specifically; it's the whole Northeast. They were warning of thunderstorms and damaging winds and all that kind of fun stuff. But again, John, endeavor to persevere. Oh, Alex, I'm just going to call you Alex. Alex says, thanks as always, Thrash. Tom says, thanks, you guys. Tracy says, hey, gang, as a collective. And to you as a collective as well. Wajameen says, thank you, Thrash. I've got to remember to. My laptop's is a touch screen, and it's so tacky to do this. So I'm going to have to remember to actually, no, it's not. I keep forgetting. My camera's over here. This is my screen. Used to be the camera was right here. When I went this way, I would reach in front of it. I learn something new every day. But anyway, Weird City says Docs can't do anything for him. I think I skipped an earlier comment. Oh yes, I was a little bit behind. Weird City says Ray Liotta died relatively recently, underrated. Also looks like we are about to lose Tom Sizemore. Yes, that was also mentioned. Ray Liotta kind of surprised me, by the way. I guess he'd been ill for some time, but I was somehow unaware. They've been showing Goodfellas quite a bit lately. Love that movie, so I've actually been catching it quite a bit. Actually, and yes, rest in peace, Mr. Ray Liotta. That was a very sad loss. Oh, Karen Lee Maloney is here. Says hi, everyone. Hello, Karen Lee. Big Guy says rainbows. Yes, rainbows to you too. Weird City says Tom had a brain aneurysm. I thought it was an aneurysm. Life support talks with his family ongoing. We'll have to send our positive vibes, but prepare ourselves for what seems like the inevitable. A very sad. That's where he says Docs can't do anything for him. Daryl Johnson, my other brother. How we doing? He says, Bobby, Bobster. The D Man, so good to see you. Oh, and since you're here, and for the benefit of all else who just joined, I apologize on behalf. We missed a lot of comments the other night when Ian was doing the live chat and the comments section and pretty much everything else all at once. He Some comments just fall through the cracks, and I can't highlight like I used to. I'm going to try with the Dickens to make sure I cover as many comments tonight. But again, I just wanted to apologize. He was trying so hard. He's working on the way to log me back in so I can actually highlight comments, and hopefully that won't happen as badly in the future. Lance Javen says, I remember Tom from Passenger 57. John Doe says, let's try this again. Yes, please do, John. I love your perseverance, by the way. Thank you very much. And don't worry, I have another wretched recap from one of the books you sent me coming up, by the way. Let's see what else we got. A lot of people having fellowship saying hi. It just did that jump. It's so funny. If any of you have ever been on any Retro Nerd Girls recent live chats, she gets like a zillion comments like a minute, and every time the comment section jumps, it like throws her off her game. She like, oh no! It's like we just had a time slip or something. I'm used to it because even though I don't get nearly as many comments, my screen jumps quite a bit because I do get plenty because you guys are very interactive. Sean Innes says, yep, brain aneurysm, sad as was getting his career going again. Story I read today says Sizemore family looking at end of life decisions. That's very, very, very sad. But Sean, thank you just for being here tonight. Thank you very much. On the lighter side. Kenneth Wilkinson says we had a lot of snow today. It's funny, I had snow in my area. I woke up to it just a couple of inches, but it was that wet, heavy, cement like old oatmeal snow. When I try to clean my car off so I can get out of the house, a trick I learned is I use my leaf blower because I have a very tall car and I have very short arms, and for some reason I have a roof rack, so clearing the roof off is tough. But now I just take the snowblower, I put it over the hood of the car, I hit the button, zzz, clean as a whistle. Well, this morning it didn't work. It just sort of moved the slush around on the top of my car. I finally got it clean, but it wasn't nearly as easy to clean. Then it turned to rain, so I didn't have to clean off the other cars when I came home today. So that's the good news, Ken. But yeah, we've had, I think this is the second, maybe third time it snowed all winter, so we've been lucky. But yeah, we did get snow today. Lance Chafin says, ha ha ha, first like, really? Oh, we're up to 7 now, but we got 13 people in house. We can do better than that, people. That's just over 50%. Everyone, come on, give me a like. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed. And if you have subscribed, get a friend to subscribe. And well, and keep the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling. I'm about to get a copyright strike. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, Les Javen says, Ken, really how much? Again, on Cape Cod, only a couple of 3 inches. I don't know. Ken, you've told me probably 87 times, but I want to say Rhode Island? It's somewhere in the Northeast. I don't. I believe it's somewhere in the Northeast. But Ken, please let me know where you're from again. I promise I'll remember this time. Knock on wood. Karen Lee says, I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking, Lance. On behalf of all of us, I'm glad you're doing all right. Tracy says, just got a new phone. My old one bit the dust. Ooh, another one bites the dust, huh? No, I won't. Too easy. Ooh, one of the Daves is in the house. And I have to say hello to a Dave. Always say hello to a Dave. Well, I think I went too far the other way. No, I didn't go too far the other way. A lot of dee dee hocus pocus. A lot of dee dee abracadabra. Okay, I know someone said something here somewhere, so I'm just going to keep scanning until I can get a comment that I haven't. Oh, there you go. Nothing bites the dust. Yeah. Daryl Johnson said, hey, David, but I can't see any of the Davids. Anyway, David, hello. And when I see one of your comments, I'll read it out loud. But I did look. Tom says, went to a convention on Sunday, saw the Soup Nazi. The real Soup Nazi or the one who played him on Seinfeld? He was based on a real guy, you know. John Dose's Goodfellas mainly took in Brooklyn, New York, my old neighborhood. Very, very cool. John Bernstein is with us. Hello, John. So good to see you. Don't remind me of his age as I'm older and not ready to go. That happens more and more. Now, I'm going to be 56 in August. And a lot of these celebrities who are passing are at least a few years older than I am, but a few. A few. I'm used to celebrity deaths being 30, 40, 50 years older than I am. But as I've gone from being in my early 20s now into my mid late 50s, I'm catching up. Oh, and by the way, I probably don't have the healthiest diet as you probably deduced, but what the hey? I tell my doctor, I have a job. Keeping me alive is your problem. But let's see what else we got here. Daryl Johnson says, that's okay. I'm pretty thick skinned. You do seem you take everything in stride. But I found that when you take things in stride and people take that for granted, it makes you not take it in stride. I tell people, it's not that I don't have patience, I don't like having my patience tested. So we shall never take you for granted or anyone else. Tracy says, I understand that you can't always get to everyone's comments. Sometimes you just spring on yourself fast. Just do what you do. We understand. That is super mensch like of you, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you so much. John Doe says hello to the room. Karen Lee says Ray Liotta was just given a star on the Walk of Fame. Oh, that's very, very cool. Tom says going to a convention in 2 months with Clint Howard. Oh my God, Clint Howard's great. Child star, grew up, became, he did not have, he didn't transition from child star to adult star as well as his brother does. Elephant in the room. I'm sure he's come to terms with that, but he was able to make the transition, and a lot of child actors could never do that at all. He should be very proud of himself. And I got to tell you, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and he's never let me down. He's done comedy, he's done horror, he's even done a couple of straight drama pieces. So, no, Clint Howard is a true Hollywood success story. John Bernstein says we had snow for the first time in 45 years. What do you win? Paraguay? Wajamin says that would be cool, Tom. I'm just going to translate the name. Tom says, I hate snow like that. Glad I'm in California. Yeah, you must remember from when you were a kid because you were like literally my neck of the woods when you were a kid. So, and John Bernstein says, I'm in California. Yeah, but parts of California get snow. You must be in what, San Diego? Tracy says, no snow here. It was 80 plus today. And you're not even in like true southern Florida. You're closer to the panhandle, aren't you? Lance Chafin says, tickle that like button. Thank you. Thank you. Weird City says, still a few Ray Liotta movies in the pipeline. And of course, the one out now, Cocaine Bear, looks interesting. LOL. My wife really wants to see Cocaine Bear. She saw the trailer for it. It was so funny. I first saw it with Daily Dan, who's not here yet. I'm sure he will. Daily Dan showed me a trailer for it, and now my wife has heard of it, and now she wants to see it. So, fight on, Cocaine Bear. Let's just see. I think I'm a little behind, so I'm going to try to catch up. Oh, I'm actually a lot behind. But I'm going to try to catch up. Alex says just a bit of light rain in my area of the UK. I'm going to guess London. I always guess London. It's generally London. Tom says, I live 25 miles from San Francisco, John. Not too far. Vallejo, right? Ken Wilkinson says, yes, Rhode Island. I feel so much better now. I thought it was Rhode Island. Imagine my embarrassment if it wasn't. John Doe says, Thresh, you might know this if you seen Night of the General. I was told was based on a somewhat true event. Um, it's my understanding was there had been a uh, he wasn't a serial killer, but there was a German general who killed a prostitute, and they tried to sweep it under the rug. The problem was the prostitute later turned out to be working for the Gestapo, so it created a righteous mess. How much of the actual details they left in the movie, I'm not 100% with, but my understanding is that they changed it a lot for the purposes of uh, who done it film. I highly recommend everybody watch it. It's possibly the only World War II police procedural film you could find. And let's keep going. John says, I live 45 miles from the city. Wajibin says, just saw something about Cocaine Bear at Weird City. The story was very interesting. John says, I know it isn't recent, but when David Bowie passed away, it reawakened my love of music. Starting with listening to his work again anyway, it led me back to guitar lessons. He was a heavy casualty. Rest in peace, Ziggy Stardust. Weird City says, what do you mean? Yes, the trailer is crazy. Tom says, John, come to our convention in August, Creatures Convention. Zuplex says, hello, T-Pawns. Zuplex, hello to you too, by the way. I thought I said hello earlier. Well, hello again, Zuplex. I will always say hello to my good friend from Puerto Rico. Alex says, anyone seen Ant-Man Quantumania? I have not actually. I never get to the cinemas anymore. The last movie I saw in the cinemas was the Dennis Playhouse, which is a sort of independent cinema in the town of Dennis, as you probably deduced at this point. And they showed, as part of their Splatterday Night film festival, they showed King Ghidorah, which I've never seen on the big screen. A lot of people saying hello to each other, so I'm going to skip down. Oh, John Collins is here. Hello, Bob and everyone. I just saw a new movie, Jesus Revolution, and it is quite something. I'm even if you think that sort of thing is not your bag, this movie isn't preachy, and Kelsey Grammer is good. Thank you for the recommendation, John, and welcome to the party. Tom Lemery says, hi, Thrash. Hi, everyone. Tom, so glad you could be here. Welcome to the party as well. Skipping down, a lot of people saying hello to each other. Alex says nothing because he just jumped off the screen. Alex says, I'm in Eastbourne on the coast, about 1.5 to London. Well, if you're on the coast, yeah, it's a little bits away. Only part of the country I've ever been to is London, so I always guess London. Spent some time in Hendon. Mind the gap. Mind the gap. BK on the air is here. BK on the air says, hey, Thrash, had a great time with you on the radio Saturday. Great stuff. Yes, I was graciously one of the coolest things I got to do. Alan and Barry invited me to be on BK on the air this past weekend. I'm guessing it will be on his YouTube post this coming weekend. If you'd like to hear the footage, Barry was a phenomenal host, and we had a lot of fun. And it was very, very, very fun. If you go on Facebook, I left some links where you could find the footage as well. But Barry, it was just too cool being on your radio show, and I would be more than happy to do it again. Hint, 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 hint. Oh, Alex says, 1.5 hours to be clear. Yes, 1.5 units of measure. Tracy says, mixed Hollywood horror, science fiction, Your Name, and they were whole lot of people. Yes, there certainly would be. Corey's comedy channel is here in the house. Yeehaw, hello friends. Corey, so great to see you. Corey's been putting out some amazing stuff. Corey just put out another one of his live posts. I didn't make the live post, but I saw it in replay. You guys all know the routine. If you haven't subscribed to Corey's comedy channel, please do. And Corey, please try to let me know in advance before you do next live chat. Oh, and you mentioned actually my email address. If you go on to my YouTube channel, and when you go to About, there is an email address for business purposes. You're always welcome. Shoot me an email. Give me your contact info, and I will definitely give you a jingle. Love to chat with you, man. But thank you for joining us tonight. Let's just see. A lot of people saying hello, hello. How are you? Zublik says never could get into World War II films because they always sanitize the truly horrible nature of the war and try to make it into a fun adventure. Well, piss in my cornflakes, why don't you? No, it's okay, you're right. They do try to sand it down. It's entertainment, not meant as a horror fest. You're right. But this is a police procedural World War II film about a serial killer. Tom Lemry says, hi, Corey. I tried getting on your live chat and didn't see the live chat button. John Burnton says, last movie I saw was The Hobbit and only the first one. Tom says, BK, when is your YouTube with trash? I believe it's this weekend. You'll have it posted. Daryl Jones says, how is the weather in the UK? He said just like rain today, but I think he meant overall. John says, Tracy, where you at the convention? Or I mean conversation? Conversation, convention, tomato. Lance says, Tom, RNG is on Saturday at 5 p.m. for the watch party. Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Yeah, she's doing the whole Harryhausen thing. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think oh no, there were a few more here. Tom says, Alex, is it cool? I'm Irish Catholic, LOL. Tracy says, no, but my family Scott was. John Doe says, it's just amazing that people are miles and miles away from each other, yet connected here in this chat. It is. We are a community. We are all one under the stars, even if it's light out where you are right now. And I'm so glad to have you with me this evening. BK says Marvel wrapped Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 here in Atlanta some time ago. Click. Lots of filming going on here. Alex says, all good with me, Tom. Len says, will do, Tom. BK says, always fun to be connected to lots of cool folks out there. It is. It's fun to have this sort of virtual community. Is it not? Is it not? John says, Bob, how can we listen in replay to your radio turn, which I'm sure was spectacular? Thank you, John. I believe BK on the air is going to be posting it this weekend. What he normally does is he will do his show live one weekend. Barry, if I have any of these points wrong, please let me know. And then he edits out the commercials and replaces them with cool old vintage commercials and the news, which is all archaic at that point, and then post them the following weekend. So look this weekend for his new post, and I'm sure you'll find more. Let's just see. Oh, Tracy Rothmeyer says, sorry, my spell check is on, guys, so I sound kind of like I don't know what I'm saying. Keith could relate to you as far as that goes. Corey says, you are too kind, Thresh. Thanks for the recognition. No, it's you guys who recognize me. I'm just playing up on it. Then thank you. Tracy says, John, I thought your name was German. not necessarily German Jewish, but just German. Not sure. Um, Tom says, "Thanks, Alex. Not all Brits are bad." Just joke. Oh, I see. It's the whole Irish Catholic thing. Remember, no politics, no politics. Let's just see. Sean Innes says, "Tracy, I'm on my phone and autocorrect is messing with me." Yeah, that happens a lot, except when you want it to. John Doe says, "The first thing I think of when I hear Australia is penal colony." And the first thing I think of when I think Australia is Foster's beer, mate. And you know what the funny thing about that is? I was bartending one night, and one of my regular couples came in, and they had a friend of the family's who was from Australia. And all I could tell because he had a thick Australian accent. And he said that he wanted a beer, and I said, "I'm so sorry, we don't have Foster's." And without missing a beat, he goes, we don't really drink Foster's. We think it's cheap. We just make it for export." And I go, "Leave it to the Yanks to not get the joke." And a jolly good fun was had by all. True story. BK says behind on podcast editing, but Thrash's BK appearance should be up by this weekend. Sunday, Sunday. John Burnson says it's actually Belarus, Polish, depending on the time of year. You mean when the borders change? Sorry. It's a very cool name, John. Alex says, as long as you can make a decent tea, then us Brits are happy. You're too kind. Lance Chafin says, funny, my last name is Chafin Crest. His is named after a bald, and I'm bald. That is actually very cool, or synchronistic at least. Serendipitous, perhaps even. Uh, Tom says, I love this community. And Tom, we love having you here. We love having you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tracy says, love yous guys too. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are just the best. Someone said, love you, Tracy, but Zuplex, thank you, Tracy, and we love you too. And Lance Javen says, love you, Tracy, my sweet. Oh, very, very kind. John Doe says, what's a crumpet? It's an English muffin. It's what we Yanks call English muffins. If you've ever had Thomas's English muffins, then you know what a crumpet is. Karen Lee Maloney says, I'll be looking forward to it this weekend. I'm sure it was a blast. You are too kind, Karen Lee. I hope you enjoy as much as you hope you do. Tom Lemry says, not seeing certain comments. Why? Uh-oh. You're not seeing them, or I'm just not reading them? I hope I don't. As far as I can tell, nobody's blocked. If Danny is here, he could check on it. I would have to go out of my live chat to check on it. I believe everyone who's here has been able to comment, and I can't say something stupid like, if you're not if your comments on posting, please let me know. Mods, quick question out there. Has anyone been inadvertently timed out? If they have been, please time them back in. But I believe all comments are showing. That might have been that glitch thing we were talking about. But Tom, keep you posted. Were they your comments, by the way, or just other people's comments? Well, let me know, and we'll stay on it. Again, Lance, a crumpet is an English muffin. John Burnson says, I type in Braille, but I see fine. Oh, cool. Tom says, all my English friends are big tea drinkers. Me too. No coffee. Blah. I love coffee, actually. Zupflix says, T-Pon's unapologetic is miffed because he hasn't been invited to BK on the air. He hasn't said anything to me about it. Alex says a crumpet is a small, spongy bread or a term for an attractive woman. I knew that. Benny Hill used to refer to them as crumpets. There was a There was this English actress. She had her own web series for a while, by the way, and I think she made that joke too, by the way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yes, uh, an English muffin or an English hottie. And where were we? Daryl Johnson just jumped off the page. I will endeavor to find him again. Oh, come on. I just had you. There it is. I just had to refresh the page, Tom L. Oh, okay. Maybe that was the problem. Like I said, I don't think anybody's been bipped. But anyway, I certainly haven't. Um, John Burton says Foster's is from Canada. Are you sure? There was a whole ad campaign back in the 80s about Foster's. It's Australian for beer, mate. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Let's just see. Tom says, I knew that, Alex. I watched Benny Hill. You see the Benny Hill thing. Zublik says, I thought Molson is from Canada. Canada actually has a few beers. Daryl John says, please hit the like button. What he says. Lance Javen says, yeah, what Daryl said. Yeah, what he says too. Tom Lumley says, it is Zuper. Last I knew. I assume he means Molson. Alex says, yeah, we love our toasted crumpet with a spot of tea. Pip pip. There you go. Best of luck to you. No worries. Karen Lee says, hit like on my way in. Thank you. Emily Miller is here with us. Says, hey, all. Sorry I'm late. What's up for discussion? Well, so far we've been discussing dead celebrities and English breakfast muffins. Literally. And either one of those are right for discussion. If you have something else you want to add, again, it's bring your own topic. You get a topic, we will be myopic. It was the best I could do in such short notice. Tracy Rothmeyer says Foster's is great. You know, I might pick up some. I feel like a Foster's now. I've been drinking that Jenny Cream Ale. John Doe says I tried to drink a Foster, and the first time I ever threw away a beer. Lance Javen says Alex and Cheerio. A lot of people saying hello to Emily, as right they should. Samuel, best community on YouTube. Samuel, thank you very much for joining us. You're very, very welcome. Glad you could make it this evening. And please, share any topic you would like to discuss tonight. So far, we've been doing old films and celebrities who have passed on. And for some reason, English breakfast pastry, but we're open for more discussion. Oh, again, please hit the like button and subscribe and continue to enjoy the fellowship. Daryl Jones says there's a $25 late fee. I wish. A lot of people. Oh, Emily Miller says, I had to get my car legal today. I'm broke. Same plate, blah, blah, same blah, same blah, blah, same page club. Tom Lermy says, I'm not seeing BK's comments. The ones I was reading out loud? No kidding. Because I could see them, they were there. Strange. Unless he made more, but how would you know that? Because you can't see them. This is getting confusing. I will I will get on it, by the way, but thank you for keeping me posted. I appreciate it. Alex says, what do you guys think about baked beans on toast? It's a staple English meal. My father used to do that. My father used to, he would eat cold beans. He would like make the toast, butter it, and then put some baked beans on it. Um, I have had it, but usually, if I'm doing beans, I do Franks and beans, with or without bread, depending on how many carbs I feel like. Zuplik says, disgusting house. That wasn't very nice. Oh, Emily Miller says, BRB. John Collins says, Bob, how long was your individual segment of awesomeness on the radio extravaganza? I did two segments, omitting commercials. I would say that would be just short of a half an hour, which was truly amazing because I had literally no idea what we were talking about. He said that spontaneity was key on his show, so he didn't want to give me like topics to like research. He wanted to just sort of shoot the proverbial fish in the barrel. So I just had to wing it. I mean, he would throw out a question here, a question there, and I would speak to it. But it was a total cold interview. Fortunately, if there's one thing I excel at, it's filling dead air. Gerald John says baked bean with egg and bacon. Love it. What was that song by Donovan where he talks about double egg over double eggs, chips, and beans? Yeah, there was a song where he refers to eggs and beans with chips, of course. Is it Mad Mad John? But apparently the English will eat beans with anything, even other beans. Let's just see. A lot of people saying hi to Samuel. Yeah, Samuel, if you have a topic, feel free to throw it in, and I will bump my camera for some reason. Sorry, I had to put it on a box so it's at the right angle, and I bumped the box, and well, you people don't care. Lance Chafin says sounds good. Darrell, it does. It does actually. Sounds like something I would have eaten in my old club days back when they had like those 24-hour restaurants and breakfast served every time. Sounds like something I would have had after like the clubs closed many, many, many years ago. Sean Innes says, "Hey, Jenny Cream Ale was the first beer I ever had. You can still find it here on Cape Cod. Do you remember the commercial for it from like 40 years ago? Genesee is believing. It's not bad beer. It's just you can get like a 30 pack for $16. Let's just see. Zuplik says, was that some sort of British Army interrogation technique house? Well, that's not very nice. A lot of people saying hello to everyone else. Oh, Alex says sometimes we chuck some cheese or fried egg on top of the beans. We are sophisticated, personified. John Collins says message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well. And let's just see. I jumped again, so I'm going to try to catch up. Ooh, Lance Javen said had chili with cornbread today. Ooh, that's a, you know what I do? I found this brand. You guys are gonna think I'm disgusting. I found this brand of corn dog. What it is those little teeny dogs, those dog bites that you would like get like at like cocktail parties. They take the dog and they make it into a corn dog. So it's like in a cornbread nugget. I have those with chili. I make my own chili and put the corn dogs in it. So it is a chili dog cornbread concoction. It is possibly the worst thing in the world for you. I'm getting chest pains just thinking about it, but it is absolutely delicious. And if I had any corn dogs and chili right now, I'd be cutting the short so I could make some. John Doe says, Thrash, what is the best book to movie? I would have to say, in my opinion, it would have to be The Last Valley. The Last Valley it's a movie. It's set during the 30 Years War. Well, based on a book. It's about this man who's trying to escape the horrors of the 30 Years War. He runs into the Alps. He stumbles upon this village, which is in a very remote area, so it's actually managed to escape all the horrors of war. He sets up shop there, but right behind them is this group of mercenaries who want to burn the village, kill all the villagers, and take whatever they can back to their army. And this man who's been eluding them, named Vogel. Did I say Vogel? I'm sorry, that's not correct. But anyway, this man convinces the mercenaries to work with the villagers, and it was turned into a movie. And the novelization was written by the guy who wrote everything. Uh, can see him plain as day. Michener, James Michener. James Michener wrote it, and it's just an excellent book. I've read both the novel and the book based on the movie. Just to cover my bases. And I own the movie. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, check out The Last Valley if you get it. Pardon me if you get a chance. I think I was just thinking about chili again. John says Foster's is brewed in Carlton and United Brewing Company, which is based in Melbourne, Australia. But it is brewed in Canada and owned by Ashi Beverages family of Japan. So it's a multinational beverage. Love it. Now I have to have some. Ken says, "Did you ever eat jelly babies, Bob? The Fourth Doctor ate those." Yes, at a science convent fiction. I'll come in again. At a science fiction convention I went to in Boston, the same one that was later done in Chicago that Tracy went to when we were both teenagers. Some of the vendors sold jelly babies, and I actually bought some, probably at an extortionary rate, but I bought some jelly babies and ate same. I'll just see what else you got here. Sean Innes says baked beans on toast, not for breakfast, in my humble opinion. What do you mean says ham and beans for me. I've had that. Emily Miller says, uh, I it was Vogel. I don't know why I'm second guessing myself. The guy's name was Vogel. It was a different character I had stuck in my head. But anyway, Emily Miller says, I just can't get into cold beans as a breakfast food. It's free country. Zublick says, it is still disgusting. Tea puns. Rude. Lance Chapin says, it was Alex. I used veggie juice for the sauce. I'm assuming we're still talking about beans. John Burton says, by the way, I know my beer. Apparently, you do. You certainly know your beer. Tom Emery says Alex baked beans on toast. It's a gas, but a bump. Daryl Jones says right out of the can. Emily is the way to go. Alex says no matter what. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not for breakfast, Sean. And it's definitely a nothing left in the fridge dinner. Fair enough. Emily Miller says, Kenneth, I like mine broiled. Never tried them jellied. Uh, babies? Ew. You're taking this witch stuff a little too seriously. Sean Innes says John Bernstein. That is some beer lineage there. It certainly is. Sean Innes says empty shelves breakfast. Tom says, John, we got a beer joint in Bay Area that has 400 beers to choose from. Zublik says, message retracted, and a message retracted to you. Um, oh dear, I'm way behind again. I think I've caught up. I'm gonna have to race through these apparently. Oh, Mike and Kathy are here. Hey, Mike and Kathy, how you doing? Alex says, to be fair, you're not entirely wrong, Thresh. We even have a song about baked beans. Emily says, I had a topic once, but Cream took care of it. Zublik says, boiled babies. So witchy of you, Emily. Yes, we're on the same page. John Bernstein says, two things I'm good at fast food history and beer, and I love both. Mike and Kelly says, were we talking about beans to an alarming extent? John Collins says, Bob, I need to make a public declaration. If our community was being honest, the vast majority would say that the live streams on Retro Serial flow much better when you are able to read the comments. Yes, I did apologize earlier on. Ian is actually working with great alacrity to upgrade me so I can go back to being the comment guru like before. I won't bore you with the details, but we're working on it. Tom says, love Narragansett beer back in the day. I actually had that not too long ago. They're still making it. John H. Hey, John, what's going on? John H. Hi, Thrash. Nice to see everyone here tonight. Nice to see you too. Thanks for joining us. Tracy says, I stayed in England and I'm telling you, there's nothing like a breakfast I like the way they make a breakfast. They really do. They really do have excellent breakfast there, and I love the fresh bread. And there's something better about their butter. I can't explain it. And they had a cheese and tomato sandwich there. And someone said it's because of the dressing they use on it, and some say it's because they use a special aged cheddar that you can't get in the States because there's a live culture in it. But I've tried desperately to recreate this cheese and tomato sandwich, and I can't, and I'm going out of my mind every time I think about it. Thank you for bringing it up, Tracy. No, it's not your fault. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. Am I blue? Now he's gone and we're through. Am I blue? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to catch up. And Zuplik says Robot B9 of Lost in Space, the worst HAL of 2001. Are we talking about robots? Did someone say what are the best robots and worst robots of literature? The Zuplik says Robot B9 of Lost in Space. The worst is HAL of 2001: A Space Odyssey. So I'm guessing someone asked that earlier. I'm guessing it's Tracy. And what's wrong with HAL? Open the pod bay door, HAL. I can't do that, Dave. Let's just see. Emily says chat has been taken over by juvenile ditties. What else is new? Mike and Kathy says I like chili with hot dogs. Of course, who doesn't? That's amazing. John Burnson says I should pay homage to the King Anchor. Not sure who the King Anchor is, but homage paid. Let's just see. Oh, let's give it says chilies and fries all over it. Zublik says, good little ditties from the UK, which must have originated from experience. Emily Miller says, my wife liked beans in her hot dog chili too. My side of the family is all no beans unless it's an entree. Let's see. Terrell Eugene Bellinger is in the house, and he says, hello, Thrash. I love jelly beans. Remember Reagan, when Reagan was president? He always kept a jar of jelly beans on his desk. Sean Innes says, Retro Serial, I couldn't find your email on your channel. You asked me to send you info on Phantomas the other night. Oh, what was the other thing we were supposed to watch? There was listen to. There was something else we all promised Retro we were going to listen to. I suppose I could listen to the broadcast and find it out. Just see. Terrell John says it wasn't Hal's fault. No, it wasn't. He was made to lie, and it drove him insane. Spoiler alert. Retro Serial says, "What's the topic?" So far, we've been talking about dead celebrities, vintage war movies, and bizarre things British offer as meal selections. Oh, and a crumpet is an English breakfast baked good or a hot young English woman. So you are now virtually up to speed. Emma Miller says Jelly Belly's the best. Mike and Kathy says danger, Will Robinson. Danger, warning, Will Robinson. Daryl says someone missed with his programming. David messed with his programming. Yes, yeah, because they were trying to do a cover up. Emma Miller says like sometimes it's well deserved though. Sean Innes says beer, beans, and Howl 9000. Give me beer, beans, and Howl 9000, and there is nothing I cannot do. Alex says, I love this live. Well, it has to be live. Although you can have just as much fun in the recap. I actually listened to my old live chats. I tried to critique myself. It's not just because I'm a narcissist, which I am, but if I can derive enjoyment from watching my own recaps, you guys can too, if you choose. Lance Javen says RoboCop. Oh, running the gambit there. Zuplik says, yeah, that was the excuse, Daryl, but that doesn't excuse killing. Ah, you raise a valid point. Retro Serial says you promised to listen to Brand New. That was it. That was the Brand New. You make me feel brand new. The devil and God are raging inside me. That is what I will listen to. And you know what? I'm still going to replay our show from Monday night. John Doe says fish and. Oh, by the way, John Doe, are you still getting any glitching? By the way, or is it a solid show at this point? Fish and chips is really dogfish, shark, and fries. Is fish and chips dogfish? I believe it. I mean, fish is fish, but I thought it was cod. You cad. Mike and Kathy says live is great. Whoa, when I'm the one hosting it. No, thank you. Thank you, Mike and Kathy. It's always great having you guys with us. Liz Chafin says short circuit. Oh, and Emily Miller says number five. Johnny Five is alive. And Lance Chafin goes on to say number five is alive. And ooh, John Doe says best robot is Skynet. Wow. And Tom says, Mike and Kathy, I'm from Vallejo. Where are you from? Alex says it's called haddock or Plassy, but mostly cod. What's Plassy? Plassy Domingo? Wajimin says Ali Sheedy and Steve Gutenberg. Yes, those were the other two people in the movie. Tracy says jellied eels are a British delicacy. Ooh. And Emma Miller says, I watched Megan last night. Not sure I would put her in the top 10. Oh, look who's here. Steve from The Life and Sad Ending is here. And he says, best robot is Roomba. Certainly the most practical. Mike and Kathy says South Dakota so cold. I heard somewhere the Dakotas are actually colder per capita than Alaska because Alaska at least gets the ocean effect. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to go with it. John Doe says in England it's shark, in the U.S. it's cod. Okay. Daryl John says jellied eels and mash. Zublik says, do the British ever tried salted codfish? It is very popular here in Puerto Rico. What's the thing they eat in Iceland? It's a Greenland shark steak, but don't they bury it in the sand until it starts to decompose? There's a chemical. If anyone knows what I'm talking about and I'm wrong at any point, please feel free to say it in the comments. The Greenland shark lives at a very, very, very low depth, and it's very, very cold down there. So to keep it from freezing, it has this chemical in its bloodstream, which is actually very, very toxic. So in the same way, like you have to, like when people like dry certain meats with uh, Greenland shark, you bury it in the sand until this chemical leaches out, and it becomes like dried jerky almost. And I've heard it's one of the most disgusting things in the world, but it's considered a delicacy. And feel free to correct me on any point because I think I'm wildly inaccurate on that one. But hey, it sounded good for a while, didn't it? Tom says, leave the Brits alone. Hey, you started. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Steve says, Zuplex. Hey, buddy. A lot of people having fellowship. The golden rage of TV is here. Pat is in the house. He says, hey, gang. Hey, Pat. So good to see you, by the way. How's the new channel treating you, by the way? I saw one of your most recent interviews, by the way. Great stuff. Thank you so much for coming by. Guys. If you haven't checked out Pat's new stuff, you got to check it out, by the way. Oh, by the way, you can follow a lot of the stuff. If those of you guys are on Facebook, I post a lot of the stuff on Facebook for reasons that are all too obvious. So if you need to know what's coming up recently with Pat, Dave, Barry, and a host of other really cool people, check out my channel because I am a herald of cool stuff. But Pat, again, thank you for joining us. And I'll just see because I just jumped again. So here we go. Sean says, "What was the depressed robot in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy called?" Marvin. Marvin, the paranoid android. A lot of people having love for Pat. John Doe says, I always see fermented shark, but I heard it smells bad. Yeah, it smells like it's like rotting. John Collins says, bye, people. John, thank you so much for coming by tonight. I'll give you a call at some point tomorrow afternoon. Take care. Peace. Emily says, Sean, was it Deep Thought? No, Deep Thought was the super master computer. He wasn't paranoid. He was just the one that created planets. Pat says, I see my buddy Thrash is in good company tonight. Yeah, we got 22 people and 21 likes. I can't get much better than that. And you're here, and that makes the company even gooder. Ken says, did you ever eat at the British Beer Company, Bob? I certainly did. I certainly did, actually. In fact, I was just in there last week, actually. I didn't eat, but I did stop by for a refreshment. Lance Chafin says, it's time for the pat down. But Alex says, I think you mean Hackarl? I know I mispronounced that. Hackarl. Thrash. Iceland is an amazing place to visit. Always wanted to go there, by the way. Sean Innes says, Emily, I think Deep Thought was the Uber computer. Yes. That came up with the ultimate answer. Yeah, it's the one that built the Earth. Let's just see. Steve says, oh, he's decided Tracy Worth Myers. Oh, Sean Innes, yes, it is Marvin. Marvin, the paranoid android. Len says the Transformers. Some of them were depressed. Sean says, Emma Miller, Noam, that was a great guess, actually. It was a very good guess. You had the right source material. Pat says, great to see all your beautiful names. Yes, and it's great to have you with us too, Pat. Thank you very much. Zublik says the most boring robots were on Heartbeeps. I tried so hard to like that movie. I really did, and I couldn't do it. Tom says, how does Jaime from Get Smart rank in robots? He was pretty funny, a little outdated, but he was funny. Mike and Kathy says, we are in great company. No, you are great company. Thank you very, very, very much. Tom says, Pat, we got a convention coming up with the creature features people. I wish I lived on the West Coast. Emily Mo says, I always chuckle when I see the number 42. 42! Lynn says, yes, Tom, that counts. Zublik says, Jaime need a circumcision. Pat says, when's that, Tom? John Burnton says, I always reminisce about 42. The summer of 42? Sean Innes says, Thrash Pound Ponds, sorry, off topic, but is mid September the best off season time to go to the Cape? Yes, yes. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people like October, and it is beautiful October, but October is when it starts to cool down. You want to go right after Labor Day. Two reasons. One, the weather is still warm, and the ocean is at its warmest. A lot of people love to come to the Cape in the early summer because they have cabin fever and they want to hit those beaches right away. And you know what? The beaches are beautiful in June, but the water is like the ice bucket challenge. The water hasn't had a chance to warm up yet. By September, it's at the warmest because it's actually holding on to the heat it's been acquiring all summer long. Only problem is, I've heard that's actually when you're most inclined to see a great white. Dun, dun, dun. I have not swum in the ocean in years, although they say you're more inclined to be bitten by a zombie deer than by a great white. And usually, the people who are, I don't want to minimize any of the unfortunates who have been, but generally speaking, they're not following safety protocols. Uh, but we do have great whites again. They're magnificent creatures. I just don't want to swim with them. But yes, mid September would be the best time to visit Cape and get the off season rates. Alex says, gotta go, guys. Been a blast. Do you mean being a blast? See you all next time. Alex, so great of you to drop by. Come back and see us real soon. Peace. Tom says August with John and his wife. Oh, let's talk about the convention. Oh, someone asked a great question. Where's Gary at? Not to mention, wasn't Dave Claroni here earlier? I could have sworn Dave Claroni was here earlier, but I could be wrong. But yes, Gary and Dave and anyone else not among us, Music Girl 67, um, hasn't been able to make it in a while. So yeah, anyone who is not among us, we miss you. Zublik says, "Good evening, house. It must be really late there." Yeah, it certainly is. Oh, Sean Innes says, "What about Ash from Alien? Creepy robot. He certainly was." John Doe says, "I remember I saw a talk between Elon Musk and an AI, and it basically said it will wipe out mankind if possible." The AI or Elon Musk? I'm equally scared of both. John H says, "I've met the man who created Jaime. He went by different names as an actor and a writer." Tom says, "CreatureCon 2023. Tim says, Trance's movie with Tim Thomerson. Oh, Tracy says, "Good night, guys. Have a nice night." Great to see you. Have a great night to you as well. Uh, John says, "I'm not that old, but breaking a leg to die, please." No, don't break a leg to die, or don't die to break a leg. Johnny says, "I remember going in the water on Cape Cod when I was 9. It was too cold to go in far." You probably came in June. The water's freezing in June. And if you went to the national seashore, forget about it. The water never warms up there. You have to go. Not people love the Bayside. Oh, I want to see Cape Cod Bay. Cape Cod Bay is beautiful, but it's cold. And the national seashore, forget about it. That water's freezing. You have to go to the south side, Nantucket Sound. That's where the warmest waters are. Shannon says, "Yeah, I don't want to be chum for the Sharks. Just considering short riding trips." There you go. Pat says, "Hey, I'm interviewing Marta Christensen tomorrow. Smelling salts, please." That is the coolest shit ever. You've done some great interviews, but that one, when you told me about that one, so what he says, be watching for it, guys. I'll keep you posted when you can find it. Steve says, "I was lying on the beach enjoying the sun, but people kept rolling me back into the water." Steve, you're skinny. I don't know where you get these esteem issues of yours. Emily Miller says, "We have quite a few sharks on the Carolina coast." My dad told me that. My dad says he doesn't go into the ocean anymore either, period. He lives in the Raleigh area, which isn't on the coast. I got a sister and her husband live in Wilmington. I don't think they go in the water much either. Uh, I jumped again, but oh, here we go. Tom says, "Bob is so New England." Yes, I certainly am. John Doe says, "Skynet is coming." Lance Chafin says, "Oh yeah, Lisa Fields. It's been a while. I don't even see her on Facebook much anymore. I mean, I think I saw her a couple weeks ago. She stopped by briefly, but yeah, I haven't seen her in a while." Evan Lewis says, "Pat, remind us who Marta Christensen is." She was the oldest daughter in Lost in Space, and there was a beach movie she did where she played Lorelai, a mermaid that Deadhead falls in love with. Pat says, "M, have you seen the great streaming on Hulu?" Probably the best place to start, Emily. Tom says, "Met Marta Christensen 3 or 4 times. Nice lady. Very cool." She says, Emily says, "Elon is a joke." Oh, Ken Wilkins says, "Judy Robinson," Emily. Pat says, "Marta Christensen is Judy Robinson." Everyone's answering Emily. With an answer here, an answer there. Uh, oh, and Johnny says, I hope I get to listen to the interview with Joyce Buffon soon. Corey's Comedy Channel says, Thrash, I gotta run. I sent you an email. Look forward to speaking with you. You're such an awesome live streamer. Very impressive. Well, Corey, thank you. And you're doing some great stuff too, by the way. Please keep it up. I won't be able to call you this evening. It's like after 9 my time. I'll try to give you a call the next day or two. But peace. Let's just see. Johnny says, I loved her in Big John, Little John. Oh, Joyce Buffon. Yeah, she was the mother or wife, depending on which way you looked at it, or aunt, or well, you see where this is going. Steve says to Pat, Lost in Space was one of my favorites when I was 10/12 years old. Mine too. Oh, Jim Murdoch. Jim Murdoch is here. Jim Murdoch, hello. Welcome to the chat. Thank you very much. We're just basically having a random chat about celebrities we've lost so far this year, old vintage sci fi shows. For some reason, uh, British breakfast selections. We're kind of all over the place, but you're welcome to bring any topic you have to the table. Let's just see. A lot of people saying hi to Gary. Oh, Gary Carpenter. Well, it's weird. A lot of people saying hi to Gary. Gary, we were just talking about you, man. Welcome to the party. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I didn't even notice you just came in. I just saw somebody mentioned you. And Dave was here at one point, but by the time I went to say hi to him, he was already gone. Perplexing. I'll just see. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Jim Murdoch says thanks for the shout out. I try to read as many of the comments in the comment section out loud as possibly to recognize my friends here in the community. Oh, please like and subscribe at the risk of sounding self-serving. Tom says, got to so many conventions. The one I met was Lisa Loring a couple of months ago. Oh, so sad we lost her. Emily Miller says, any topic? You want more topics? Throw one out. We'll talk about anything. Pat says, time to go cook dinner. It's marinated pork roast tonight and applesauce. Oh, pork chops and applesauce. Oh, Tom Leary says Joyce was the original something. Carol Brady and played Murray Slaughter's wife on the Mary Tyler Moore show. I knew that actually. She also did. Zuplik says Raquel Welch. It was a big surprise. It certainly was very, very says. She was also one of the principal guest stars on the Love Boat, appearing, I want to say, like 9 times. She made many appearances. John Doe says, Thresh, do you know of a 50s show called Captain Zero? There's a bell ringing in my head, but it could be the tinnitus. Old sci-fi show. It does sound familiar. Lance Chapin says, oh, Pat, pork chops and applesauce. Pork chops and applesauce. Loved applesauce as a kid. I still like it now. But anyway, Pat, thanks for joining us. And enjoy your pork chops and applesauce. Yeah. Oh, Tom's doing this. Everyone's doing pork chops and applesauce. Even though it's a pork roast, but that's just pork chops without the bone. Sean Innes says Gary is a robot who eats beans and fosters a for breakfast and talks about dead celebrities. Maybe hey. Ooh. Okay. Concept. Gary is a robot who eats baked beans, which he washes down with Foster's for breakfast and talks about dead celebrities. Sean, I think you may have just hit on a concept. Love it. Mike and Kelsey says, does anybody like the new Lost in Space? No. Well, if you do, that's fine. I tried it once and I'm like, this is not Lost in Space. Although I gotta tell you, it wasn't as bad as the one that they put on the theatrical release of Lost in Space, which was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And I wanted to like that so much, but it was dreadful. Oh, and good night, Pat. Thank you. And Emily says, order something from the delivery company I work for. Pat, I'll be there ASAP. Shotnina says, Gary Carpenter, just kidding. Yes. We've covered a lot of ground tonight. Yes, our topics are sort of all over the place. Les Javen says Gary got a 20-pack bottles of Bud Light. Well, I got a 30-pack of Jenny Ale, so I outnumber you. Tug is in the house. Tug, he's here. He says, "Hi, I'm here. Sorry I'm late, yo." And a yo to you too. You are never too late. You are right on time. It's so good to see you. And I can't imagine I have somebody here who hasn't already subscribed to you. But if you guys haven't, please do. Check out Tug's channel. It's absolutely amazing. I had so much fun at your live chat Sunday about the dads of film and TV. It was a blast. It was like I watched it for like 2.5 hours and it just sort of like flew by. I'm like, I'm like, holy cow! We've been talking about this for like a while, but it was very organic and it was great. So thank you. I had an absolute blast, and I'm so glad you're here. Tom Lemery says, John Bernstein, that was Christopher Knight's line as Peter. It certainly was the pork chops and applesauce. Yeah. And let's see what else we got. John Innes says, high concept situation comedy. I flesh out the pilot episode. And Lilo says, we could have a seance and talk to dead celebrities uh, asking for trouble. John, I only drink bourbon and anything that's free. So free bourbon. Tug says, hiya Wedge, Lance M. Keith et al. Oh, Daryl John says, Tug, what's for dinner? Beef, that's what for dinner. Suplex says, yogurt and fish and chips on baked beans. It's complicated. Oh, Gary Carpenter says, JB, I also drink vodka. I love vodka. You can mix it with anything. Mike and Cassie say I don't drink alcohol. I shall drink it for you. Tug says Daryl spaghetti with meat sauce. Bolognese. John says, my bad, I'm too old. Gary Carpenter says, no one is too old to drink. Too young, maybe, but never too old. Remember, alcohol is never the answer, but it's hardly out of the question. And I jumped again, so let's just see here. Zublik says, with this crew, you'll need a beard and baseball cap. And glasses. Tug says, I was surprised it went for 2.5 hours. I didn't feel like it to me either. No, it just like flew by. I just happened to look at the clock. I'm like, oh my cow. No, and your crew is amazing, actually. Very, very, very good. And I believe you said you're having Lance on next time. Little shout out to Lance. Too cool. Emily says, have you tried John? You can do it. Have you tried what, John? Has John tried what? I have no context. Well, I'm sure we'll figure out what's going on. Oh, Emily Miller's requesting Freebird. Shall I like light my lighter? Freebird, Freebird. Play the Shondells. John says, I'm willing. My wife has reservations. To a restaurant. Tug says, I like the new Lost in Space. You have to divorce it from the original, though, which I understand can be a stickling point. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not saying I'm a snob, but there are certain parameters that I couldn't get past. But that's just me. Of course, I still say if the Columbia TriStar Godzilla, if they'd called it Big Iguana Eats New York, I would have had fun with it. I could have had fun with it. I would have told people, "Oh, it's like a Godzilla movie." When you call it a Godzilla movie, then you fail. But that's just how I conceptualize. Uh, to the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. Ziplik says that's why Pat stopped YouTubing. Oh, oh no! Why did Pat? Well, I'm sure Zuplex will talk about that again. Emily Miller says, John, as long as the reservations aren't with someone else, you should be fine. Ted says, remember when a mom launched a boycott against Fox to try to take Married with Children off the air because she was offended by the show's raunchy humor? Well, that backfired. It was the opposite. Yes, and if I remember correctly, it was the lingerie episode. If I remember correctly. But yes, I do remember that, and yes, the plan did backfire. But you just couldn't make a show like that nowadays. Lance Chapman says, "Tug, I'm on next time. When is that?" Good question. Elzerblick says he didn't have a beard at T-Paw. Oh, he didn't. He couldn't grow a beard. Well, Dave doesn't have a beard either, and he's more successful than all of us. Emily Miller says, "Do tell, John. Do tell." Tug says, 312 Lance. The plan is 80s action movies. You, me, Ian, Thrash. You honor me. I will be there with bells on. I usually do noon Central, 1 Eastern, but we'll figure out the best time when we get closer to the date. So looking forward to it. So looking forward to it. Gary Carpenter says, I'm watching Auction Comics Auction on my other phone. Um, Not familiar with it, but it sounds like a blast. Shannon says, I liked the way the new Lost in Space started, but they got forced into some bad writing when they knew canceled when they knew they were getting I'm sorry, it jumped as I was reading it. When they knew they were getting canceled, really disliked the last 2 seasons. And then new. Okay, got it. Oh, Gary Cameron says next week's my birthday, the big 2-9, huh, buddy? Happy birthday, prelated. Emily says you can't call a Godzilla movie a Godzilla movie. Well, it wasn't a Toho Godzilla movie. It wasn't a man in suit Godzilla movie. The Columbia TriStar one, it didn't even look like Godzilla. You remember that one from about 20 years ago? He did. It looked like a big iguana, and that's not Godzilla. Zublik says, any interesting comics, Gary? And Lynn says, sounds good, let me know. Oh, and a lot of people saying happy birthday to Gary. Tom says there was talk to be a new film called Green Hornet and Kato, which is supposed to be true to the serious side. Don't know when. John Doe says that TriStar Godzilla was actually Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Really look at the plot only and you'll see. You know what? You are actually very, very correct. And it's funny because Godzilla was or first Toho Godzilla was loosely adapted from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which of course was based on I'm on the home stretch here, Ray Bradbury short story, The Foghorn. So the entire kaiju system was virtually all based on this one short story about a sea monster which tries to mate with a foghorn, and hilarity ensues. Oh, and Teb says, I loved Living Color. It was groundbreaking sketch show, one of the shows that truly put Fox on the map, but it will never be rebooted today because of how offensive it was. There was actually they were doing one of those shows, The Dark Side of the 90s, and they actually talk about A Living Color in great detail, and it was terrible. They put Fox on the map, and then Fox tried to distance itself from it. It was actually very sad. Actually, guys, I got to tell you, we're getting towards the hour and a half mark now. So I think, much as I was having an absolute blast tonight, I think we should kind of wrap things up around this point. I want to thank all of you guys for showing up tonight. I want to, all the people who were new tonight, I hope you had fun. Come back and see us real soon. I have another show going on this Thursday. Same time, 8 o'clock. Might have an actual topic, haven't decided yet, and I'll try to do the trivia game and questions and answers, and it'll be the same show, just a whole new batch of questions, I guess you'd put it that way. But I want to thank everybody for showing up. Oh, and for all you folks who couldn't, Cindy D, Lisa Fields, Music Girl, Dave Claroni, all the Daves who couldn't make it tonight, anyone who couldn't make it. I'm so sorry we couldn't see you. Please try to make it this coming Thursday. And for those of you who were here, I want to thank you very much for joining. I Literally couldn't do this show without you. And I know I've said this a thousand times, but no, seriously, you guys are the ones who make the show. All I do is sit here and read the comments. You guys are the ones who actually post the content. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But anyway, be good, be safe, be careful. Remember, I have another show this week on Thursday. And everyone just take care of yourselves. And until this coming Thursday or the next time you guys can make it, um, peace. Good night, everyone.